Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our Some Forever, Some for Better podcast, where we discuss how information has changed throughout the years based on Encyclopedia Britannica 1877, 1980, and then Wikipedia today. I'm Stan.
I'm Hal, and today we have a very special moment, our very first ever podcast guest, the amazing... This person can bench 3,090 pounds. She has saved 11 endangered species. Just the other day, a child came up and called her mom, even though that's not what she is. Just so many more accomplishments than Stan. And me, but also Stan. Please introduce yourself.
I have a lot of accomplishments. My name is Michaela. I do save lots of children in my spare time.
That's beautiful. All right,
Well, there's a lot of pressure on her today because she's our first guest.
Yeah.
And if she messes up, if she fucks this up at all...
There's no more guests.
No more guests. No more guests.
Well, we actually told that we will be banned from iHeartRadio if she fucks us up. So,
Wait, we're on iHeartRadio?
pretty medium stakes. I don't know if we are, but I sure told someone we were.
Yeah,
So,
we're on
they're
iHeartRadio.
gonna-
We are on iHeartRadio.
Oh, okay.
So,
I didn't know
shout out to
platform.
them. I think they're our sponsor, maybe.
Oh, okay. A sponsor,
Sponsored by
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
You're talking with your mouth full again. Stop it.
No, this is funny.
No,
Our
it's out poorly.
iHeartRadio. If can't, for some reason you still use iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio.
So today's topics are from 1877 is going to be Catawba Native American tribe, from 1980 forest communities, and from Wikipedia Philipp Schmid. And since Hal has given me permission to decide what goes first, right, Hal? I got permission to decide what goes first, right?
You have permission, my underling.
I'm going to do Philipp Schmid from Wikipedia. And one of the amazing things about Wikipedia is that you don't have to be very famous to be in Wikipedia.
You don't have to
Stan,
be
I bet
famous
you're
at
in
all.
Wikipedia.
I'm not. I should put myself out there, though, because
I did make
Philipp
a-
Schmid is out there.
I did make a Stan Wikipedia page, but got instantly taken down. They were like,
Fucking Elon Musk.
yeah, he pissed off Elon too.
He took my funding away.
It's $2.75 a month to donate to Wikipedia. If you want to be a consistent contributor, however, if you do it once, they will ask you every day for the rest of
keep
your
going,
life.
yes. Keep donating. So, because his Wikipedia entry is so short, I'm going to read the entire thing.
Lord.
Okay, but
No, I'm not going to read his birthday.
you have to do it in an English accent. Remember?
No, because if I do an English accent, it sounds like a poo. Every single time I do an English accent, it sounds any accent. It doesn't matter what it is. It sounds like a poo from The Simpsons.
All right, let's hear it.
No, they don't want me to do that. They're going to cancel me.
Hashtag cancel Stan.
So here's the entry. Philipp Schmid is a German alpine ski racer. He competed at the 2015 World Championship in Beaver Creek, U.S. in the slalom. Beaver Creek. Now, hold that thought, because we got a couple more things coming up here. Because there's one other
Beaver Creek.
there's one other line in there. It says, this biographical article relating to alpine skiing in Germany is a stub. So he's got a stub in the Beaver Creek.
I put my stub in your Beaver Creek.
It's like,
Oh shit! I'm getting a
now
phone.
I
I'm
have
getting
to
a
figure
phone
out-
call. It's iHeartRadio. We're canceled. They're pulling the sponsorship.
They're pulling the sponsorship.
Yeah, they canceled the Super Bowl too.
wait a minute, I can't perform at the Super Bowl tonight?
No. Kendrick heard about our podcast and he was so disgusted he pulled out. So now they're canceling the whole thing.
So I had to figure out some way to kind of expand that into a little thing. So I'm going to go off, this is going to be like some interesting things. There's no razor blade in Encyclopedia this time, so nothing interesting like that.
Boring.
But I looked up a couple things. Alpine ski racing has been at the Winter Olympics since 1936. So I figured I'd go back and look at the Encyclopedia Britannica from 1877 and see if there was no Olympics. There were no Olympics at that time. Olympics didn't start till 1898. So, but I did look up to see if, like, I tried a couple things here. It was like, okay, was skiing around? It was. but there's no entry for skiing in Encyclopedia Britannica 1877.
Maybe they just didn't know about it.
I knew about it. They picked and choose what went in there. Apparently, skiing wasn't that
I
important.
like the idea that they didn't know about it, like Norway wasn't invented yet.
No, Norway was in there. I looked up the Norway entry and see if I could find anything about it. I'm not sure because it was Scandinavian, but it was like I'm not sure if it was Norway, Sweden, or if it's one country. I don't know how that all worked at that time because things change. Countries, because some countries eventually become states.
Stan's like, I don't know anything about Scandinavia, nor am I interested in learning anything. Sweden, Norway, and Denmark are all one mass, and we're going to invade them all.
Okay, you're going to get canceled because you missed Finland.
Finland's not part of Scandinavia, and if you knew anything about Scandinavia, you would know that.
I thought it was part of Scandinavia.
No, it's technically not.
We need to have our producers check on that.
They have their own language that is unrelated to the other Scandinavian language. Maybe if you weren't so xenophobic and full of hate, you would have some Scandinavian and Finnish friends that could tell you these things.
I just
As
know,
do I.
I just know this is Black History Month.
Oh,
you know what?
Not anymore.
Oh, yeah, no, that's illegal now. It's illegal now.
We got. It's been like the funding's been pulled. Wait a minute.
They press Control Alt Delete on Black History Month. So.
Black History Month has been canceled until we invent a shorter month.
Does this mean I have 12 months now to celebrate myself?
Yes. Every day is Stanish history. Every day is Stan History Month. Like all those hundreds of years that you didn't do anything bad ever to anyone.
With me personally?
No, you're
People like me?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I mean,
You
people.
people.
I mean, people like me. People like me.
Okay, so did
what?
Stan, that was a great stub. Thanks. Moving on.
I'll move on from there. I did look up. I found athletes and athletic sports was in the Wikipedia or Encyclopedia Britannica from 1877, and they. It's funny. It's funny reading those articles because it's really specific about like what they did. It was really focused on like a lot of the Greek stuff. It said that cases of death by
Oh my God!
Apoplexy.
I have asked
Apoplexy?
you to learn the word. Put it in your notes, but you never learn how to say it. So we waste 40 minutes per podcast trying to just letting Stan sound it out.
Word, whatever I said, it talks about this
Apoplexy.
diet, and it says like
Apoplexy.
they had fresh cheese, dried
Apoplexy.
figs, and wheaten bread was the diet. And this is like in ancient Greek or something like that, or Roman. And this is what the amateur athletes would do. But then it said death by apoplexy was not a no.
Good job.
I'm going, was that like, what does that have to do with food? Does it have anything to do with food?
I
You know
feel
what
like
it
the
means?
reason that they died is because they weren't using whey protein powder. They were being a bunch of
They
beta
weren't on
cucks and
keto.
eating fucking fruit.
No, it's because this is like there was very, very rigorous competition. They would like, hit each other and stuff like that, or do things that would cause violence, and so it's
Oh, you
died
mean
from
like
internal
that,
bleeding or
that
something like
sport
that.
that's happening later tonight that everyone
Later
cares
tonight,
about?
yes.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
the
They didn't wear
licks.
pads back then. They didn't know what pads were.
You know what pads
It's like
were?
full fist. Yeah.
I love that for
Let
them.
me talk about what they did.
I want
This is
sports to be that violent.
This is what the training they had. They carrying heavy loads, bending iron.
I'm carrying a heavy load right now. Anybody see a,
You look about 8 pounds overweight, so I think that's what you're doing.
anybody see a Beaver Creek around where I can deposit this heavy load?
Okay, so it's not just carrying heavy loads. They also were bending iron rods.
I hate you so much.
And there's one
One time
more.
she sat on it too hard and that bent my iron rod.
Okay, we got one more. We're going to come up here.
Is it crazy hot in here? Or is that just me?
No, I'm a little
Well,
flushed too.
certainly just you.
And they were also taming bulls. That's what
Taming balls?
bulls, like
Oh, I know what you said.
like steer. Is it steer? Is that right?
I know what
It's
you
a
said.
bull?
I just added a little extra line. Over the middle of
A
it.
little spice.
Yeah.
So I think that's what caused him.
My bull cannot be
He was like
tamed.
doing that. I think that's more likely than the food they ate.
Stan, my bulls cannot be tamed. They are raging all the time in search of beaver cream.
And this whole article, it includes a lot of just Greek words. They put Greek words in there. So I recognize the alphabet because I know like the Greek alphabet.
Because you were in a fraternity.
Yeah,
where
because
you
it's in a fraternity. But I
hazed
don't. No, we stopped all that.
Oh no, we
They were
didn't.
bending iron rods.
Yeah,
in the
most of
fraternity.
you know that
Even bowls.
most of the original Olympic deaths were the result of hazing trials gone wrong in Sigma Phi Kappa. And apoplexy.
That's what somebody said.
That's what the university president told the parents. Apoplexy.
So there's just a couple things they talked about, like until 1860, all sports that involved feet were called pedestrianism. Pedestrianism. I don't ever heard that word before.
I
I'm not
wasn't
sure it's a real
listening.
word.
What'd you say?
Pedestrianism.
Pedestrianism?
No, it doesn't have the I in there. Pedestrianism.
Sports that involve feet.
Yeah, like soccer.
Oh, okay.
I assume it's just soccer. Because that's the only one I know that involves just feet. Maybe more. They had like professional hacky sack, yeah.
Hacky sack.
And it was like
What about kicking?
during that
Kickbacks.
time frame. So like in the early years, a lot of the colleges and universities, and this is Encyclopedia Britannica, so it's based on like a lot of stuff in the UK. So their big sports they had, team sports, were cricket and soccer.
I still don't know how to play cricket, and it really makes me mad. I want to know, but I also don't want to learn.
We're not learning today because it wasn't a subject that came up. If it
Hold
come
on.
up, and we would have learned how to play it all by ourselves.
Oh, perfect. Put it on YouTube.
They talk about sports, and they had very specific things like an athlete. If you did like competitive sport, you were an athlete. But if you did things that were just like for funs and exercise, like bending and stuff, that wasn't an athlete. This is in 1877. That's how the discussion was.
A
Sure,
runner's an athlete.
They talked about some of the sports. Main sports were walking,
Okay.
running, leaping.
Lords of
I
leaping.
know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like a guy jumps up and puts his feet up and like little pointy showed.
Get him a varsity jacket now.
So wait. Okay, what were all the sports? Say, finish your list.
Oh, the other two they had was hammer and putting the weight.
Hammer?
Putting the-
Hammer.
Thor?
No, like Thor's hammer.
Okay.
Yeah, back then people were bigger. Everybody had one of Thor's hammer. That was just what you
Okay,
carried
yeah.
around with you.
Yep.
Walking was a sport, and running was a sport.
Yeah, walking and running were two distinct sports. Leaping,
Leaping,
hammer,
hammer, just
and,
hammer.
and putting the shot. Or actually, it says
Shot-
putting
putting
the weight. Yeah,
Putting
which was
the
shot
weight.
put. Yeah,
You know,
hammer is the thing you put in a string and spin it around and throw it.
When I was a child, I just really wanted to be a professional putting the waiter. But my parents were like, no, give up on your dreams and become a lawyer or a doctor. And then I did neither of those and also did not become a professional put the waiter. So if you ever want to see what failure is, I'll send you a snapshot.
You're an athlete because you walk every day.
I do. You know what? I have taken like about 11 steps today, which makes me 1/11th of an athlete. I'm not good at math. Is math a sport?
So that was one of the ones that didn't. Because
I just-
if it did not involve strength, it wasn't considered a sport.
So, like, wait.
music would not be a sport.
Was swimming and bicycling a sport?
Swimming, I don't think came around until later on.
So like if you're a triathlete,
They didn't have water back then.
And
didn't
the
have
bicycles,
water.
the bicycles was ones with big like wheels on front,
the
and little
penny
ones on back.
farthing.
Oh, no. No,
So
no, no.
okay, I just want to make sure I understand that.
I don't know. Don't
So
get into
the-
pennies and farthings.
The most like athletic,
It's only a farthing, sir.
the most athletic people are probably like the triathlon or the Ironman people, right?
They had decathlons, I think, but I think decathlons involved walking, running, leaping, hammer, and putting
So
the weight.
imagine that you're a leaper from what year is this?
1877.
1877. You're a leaper in 1877, and you meet a time traveling fucking a triathlon guy with just like 12 abs, and then you, the leaper, are like,
You have 6 abs?
"You're not an athlete. Don't talk to me. Sorry, I don't speak JV."
Go run an Ironman and then let me know.
It gets. Well, I'm going to bring up a couple things from 1877. They talked about the tracks at the time. They just started making tracks, and tracks were basically paved, not paved like they are today, but they were paved.
They were
with
beaten down by horsey
clinkers,
hooves.
rubble, and fine cinder, and that's what they use for the tracks. And if you ever run a track that's got cinders in it, it sucks. It's like you can scrape yourself up pretty bad on that. I have done
Are
that.
they barefoot?
Oh.
Yeah. I was playing like softball on infield of an old track until the clinkers and rubble and cinders were still there, and I slid to catch a ball and tore the fuck out of my leg. And I had to go to the nurse to get it cleaned up because I just like stuck my leg and patted it with like a washcloth, and she got a brush out, a steel brush, and she's brushing that thing off, and I was like,
I'm sorry, did you say steel?
I think it was steel. It may have been something that was nicer than that, but it felt like steel. I was traumatized.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Sounds like the worst thing that's ever happened to you, unironically. How do you live?
I did look up sports to see what it had about sports, and there's a thing called the Book of Sports, was commissioned by James I in 1617, and it said you can dance, do archery, you can do leaping,
Oh.
vaulting, and other harmless recreations, and having of May games, Whitsun ales, and Morris dances on Sunday.
Only on Sunday?
This is in 1617. On Sunday, you could do those because normally I guess
Okay.
they banned things like that. They didn't have Whitsun ales on Sundays. Or
What
the-
happened if you did it
or
on
Morris
Monday?
dances. That's okay. Nothing's wrong on Monday.
Okay.
Sunday was a special day.
Okay.
And then they said the other things that were prohibited were bear and bull baiting, interludes, and bowling.
Bull baiting?
Bull-
Bull baiting.
Bear and bull baiting.
Bear and bull
Ball
baiting. I feel like we should let people bear and bull bait as long as they are completely like unclothed and unarmored and unprotected. So, we need to give a win to Darwinism. I haven't seen a new Darwin Awards book in a while, and I miss those.
So that's from 1877. I bumped up into 1980, see what it said. In 1980, had a huge discussion of amateur versus professional. And it's kind of interesting because amateur is derived from amateur, which means lover, because amateurs were lovers of sports. So the concept in the 1980s was an amateur is a cultivated man who just loves sports, and the professional is a money-seeking ruffian.
Ruffian.
A ruffian. That's what the
such an
initial,
aggressive word.
isn't it? But that's what they considered professional.
That's
if you were
beautiful,
like
though.
uncouth, if you were like getting money for this stuff.
So back before the days of toxic, rampant, late-stage capitalism, we actually respected people who did things
No.
out of values and love instead
No.
of just to
It's
pad
not
their wallet.
quite like that.
No, it's okay.
This reason is because
Stan,
amateurs-
I have to be a socialist. You don't.
No, it's not like what you think it is, because most of the people who were amateurs were very wealthy, and they had time to just.
Oh, let's kill and eat them. What are you talking about? You need to
So,
lead with the important
It was
information.
only the gentlemen who were the amateurs. They were gentlemen, and they would engage in like competition against each other. And then there were the ruffians that needed to make money because they were poor, and so they were just like the lower classes were the ones that were professional, because a gentleman wouldn't play a sport for money because they didn't need to.
So, for example, Stan is a gentleman and I am a ruffian.
Beautiful. Yes. Yeah. I see it now. I bet that the gentleman has a shallow beaver creek.
Oh, he's got the stub.
He's got a stub, and that's why he's so jealous of the ruffian.
And then it talked about like because the amateurs were like wealthy people originally, and then people were good at something, and so people would have like they'd hire them in their companies, they'd bring them into their towns. Actually, that's how colleges started recruiting athletes to be able to go to college and pay them, was because they were people couldn't just do it on their own because they needed something. You just can't, like, everybody doesn't have this idle time where they can just be an athlete, right? That was Jenga, in case you heard that.
Somebody's
Oh, no, Jenga.
Somebody lost in Jenga.
I'm losing in Jenga right now.
We're multitasking here. We got a game of Jenga going on.
I got a game of Jenga.
So originally, Olympics were amateurs, and I know like now professionals play Olympics. It's just the best sports. But originally, back when it started in 1898, it was amateurs that were doing it. It didn't start being professional, I think, until late 80s or early 90s. I didn't look it up. I could have. And one skier made a comment. This was actually a quote. He said, "The only amateur I know is Aga Khan." I don't know what that is.
Who, what, when?
Who is Aga Khan?
Exactly. It was a nice dig, though, right? It was like, oh, yeah.
The amateur I know is the Some Forever, Some for Better podcast. I'm Joe Rogan. Ivermectin.
So back in the 80s, amateurs were starting to say, hey, can we start using our names? You know, NIL that we have now. In 1980, they were starting to say, they're asking for use of their names for getting money for that. And the first athlete to make more money from his endorsements than for his contract was Pele.
Who's Pele?
He's a soccer player from the 70s.
Oh,
so
okay.
he was like a Brazilian soccer player,
He
considered
just
one of the
said
greatest.
it's super white. Got it.
But how do you say it?
I got pulled up. I'm going to show you. Put it to guess. I'm going to work. All right, hold on.
What are you doing? Do I need to fill time while you're looking something up?
No, dumbass, just shut up. Oh, wait, so hold on, the volume was off. Give it a second. Can you hear it? Nope, okay. Sorry, I don't know how the volume works on my computer.
Just repeat it, because if you can listen to it, you can repeat it perfectly.
Okay, stop talking. Fit it.
Pele.
Fit it. No.
Pele.
Fit it.
If I say Pele, everybody's going to know what I'm talking about.
No.
PayPal?
That sounds like
Pedro Pascal.
P-A-Y-L-A-Y.
Pedro Pascal, the soccer player.
Okay, all right.
Pedro Pascal. It's my favorite footballer.
He can't bowl on Sundays. No bear baiting. No bull
Stan,
baiting.
This is
bowling.
Is you having a senior moment, and you need to move on.
So one of the big drivers of like professionalism in sports and getting all the money, because remember in the 1800s there was almost no money being made in sports. I mean, things like baseball had just started out being a professional league. Basketball hadn't been invented yet. Football hadn't been invented yet. So all these sports weren't around.
Not invented yet, or not quote unquote discovered by white people?
No, because
it's a good question.
I think like football is kind of a variant of like rugby, so it'd been around for a while.
You mean American football? You gotta,
Yes.
if you're gonna talk about sports and you're going to mention the Portuguese named the Brazilian soccer player, you have to call American football either American football or hand egg, like the rest of the world.
What'd they call it?
Don't be hand egg, because it's a hand egg thing
Okay.
in your hand.
I've never heard hand egg before.
Hand egg. It's like a Britishism or something. Wobble. Wobble.
So in 1960, just to give a difference of like, and a lot of it's driven by television. In 1960, there were 42 total sports franchises in the U.S. 42, and that includes the four major American sports: American football,
Good.
basketball, baseball, and hockey. There was only 42 total teams. By 1970, there were 87. And now every single league has at least 30 teams in it, so there's 100 and like probably 40 or 50 different professional franchises. So that's just the growth of sports.
How
And
do you
this
think
is all
that
from
we
Philipp
could-
Schmid.
How do you think that we could join the sports leagues with our own sports team?
What?
I want to be on a sports team.
No, we're podcasters. We're not using our physical strength.
We need to, because otherwise, do you want to be a fucking non-leaping triathlon JV bitch? I don't want to be on JV.
Varsity only.
Yeah, I want that jacket.
Varsity jacket. I got my varsity jacket on. You guys got yours on?
Yeah, yep.
I should have put on deodorant. What?
So that's all I had about Philipp Schmid. I've read the entire article.
Schmid.
So I'm
What a
going to turn it
name.
over to you, Michaela.
Oh,
Talk.
me.
Yeah, we're going to talk about like your topic.
What's my topic?
I ask that every week.
Right, let me just...
I do send her the topics ahead of time.
If you don't remind me 11 times, I will not remember.
Okay, wait, how am I...
Let's talk whatever you find interesting about Catawba, Native Americans, and like how it's changed
Is
from
it
like.
Catawba?
Oh my God, we have to look it up again.
Don't worry.
There's a W in there, you know? Like,
got
where,
you,
what
I
the
got
W,
you.
where does that come from?
I don't know.
We're gonna CATAW.
BA, yeah, Catawba.
Okay.
That's how an American pronounces it.
Catawba. All right.
There's like no pronunciations.
They
on, how
don't
to
want us
pronounce.
to talk about that.
I
They
think
don't want
they
us
do.
to know how to say
I
it.
think I just got kicked off the internet.
It may have been one of those things where they were the tribe was canceled. I don't think it was called. I don't think that's what they actually did. I think they actually
They
did
were
cancel.
canceled. They did get canceled. The whites were like, no more of you. Oh, it is Catawba. All right,
Okay,
good
Catawba.
job, Stan. Stan knows how to pronounce stuff.
Catawba.
Oh, this
Wait a minute.
pronunciation has negative 35 karma, so everybody hated this one.
Oh,
Which one? They,
Catawba.
see, there we go.
Catawba.
Catawba.
Not Catawba. It's Catawba.
Catawba. Okay, all right. Well, the Catawbas were an American Indian tribe. They like to hang out in North and South Carolina.
but they didn't call it North and South Carolina, did they?
I don't know. That's what it said.
Probably just called it the land, which is hereby unadulterated by those dudes who like to come and just ruin everything.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
They said, "This is our land."
It sounds much more beautiful in the Catawba language.
And then the English came in and said, "No, it's
they
North
most
Carolina and South
certainly
Carolina."
Yeah, no. Well, the English, they actually named the Catawba River and county after its indigenous people, so they did something, I guess.
Well,
They're
it's
like,
just like-
sorry,
'cause
we took
Michigan-
your land, but we'll name it after you. I
Michigan's
guess.
like that, right? Aren't we named after an Indian tribe or Indian word or something like that?
Yeah,
No idea.
I think it means
A lot of,
land of the Great Lakes.
a lot of
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm eating loudly.
Again, yeah.
I'm trying to talk over it. I ain't gonna let you.
So the Catawbas were sedentary agriculturalists. They would fish and hunt for game. So
Did they do any like leaping?
Were they fishing and hunting for leapers?
they were
Because
leaping to the river to fish.
fishing and hunting were not sports.
Yeah, no.
I know a
they,
bunch of boomers who would tell you that it is, but apparently
They-
not.
They just wanted to kill the fish and deer for fun.
I love
Which is what
killing
people do
deer.
now. So I guess it
Well,
lines
fish, they
up.
have that like rude look in their eye, and deer are really stupid. Like you're driving at them with your fucking 4-wheeler or whatever, and then they just stop and get hit. That is a creature that wants to die, right? I think that deer are smarter than we give them credit for. They see the direction the world is heading. They've seen it for a long time, so when they see a car, they're just like, it's my time. And you're like,
soul.
fuck, my Dodge Durango.
You're looking into their soul at that point.
Except for the skinwalkers.
Skinwalkers.
The skinwalkers.
The skinwalkers, yeah.
Is it were Catawba skinwalkers? Is it the
No,
same
the
thing?
deer are. That's probably
Oh.
why they wanted to kill them for a game, because
Keeping
they
the
were
skin walking.
probably, the women, the Catawba women, were makers of pottery. They have the oldest surviving tradition of pottery.
In the
Older than
Americas?
Stan?
Wait a
East of the
minute.
Mississippi.
Okay, we want to make sure that's there. Because,
East of the Mississippi. I should the whole scouting and out to say Mississippi.
But it also said that it's probably one of the oldest in the American continent. So
oh wow, that's kind
they
of cool.
were they've been doing it.
So did they do? Do you know if they did like kilning, or they just like put a bunch of dirt into like a shape and said, "There's my pottery"?
Yeah, no, they probably were just winging it at
Yeah.
the start. Find some dirt, grass, clay. Put it together. Be like, here's a bowl.
My bowl's dirty.
Actually, this looks pretty cool. Is this real?
What are you looking at?
I Google or I
Some Catawba
DuckDuckGo
pottery.
Catawba pottery. This is probably much more recent, but like, look at that. That's
Oh, wow.
wow.
nice.
Yeah.
Looks nice. Like that bowl doesn't look dirty at all. It actually
Okay,
looks
so there's
fine.
no grass and dirt in the Catawba pottery
Oh
bowls.
damn,
just
that's
so
really
you know.
cool. Yeah, no, I would use these.
I would
in
eat
my
some
kitchen.
cereal out of that.
I would put my fruit in the big one.
Fruit or Fruit Loops?
Fruit. Oh. I'm not allowed to mention Fruit Loops because we're mad at you.
Both at the same time, perhaps.
I like this one that looks like there's this little pot guy and he kind of looks like the Kool-Aid man we're flexing.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. If you want to
They
see what
were
we're
ahead
talking
of their time.
If you want to see what we're talking about, check out our YouTube channel, which as of yet does not exist, and this is not being video recorded.
You got to pay extra for that. You got to establish us as a business.
All right, sponsored by YouTube.
Oh yeah, not YouTube, VooTube. The V.
So the English came and settled in South Carolina
Those dicks.
in 1682, and
Whoa. They were all like,
They completely switched over from talking like that into saying, "Hey, y'all, we good."
oh no, they had to have like a big bloody revolution.
they were like, "This is our land now. We gotta get some hats and
You
boots
mean- what do you mean?
immediately."
This land is our land. This land is my land. From Aleppo.
And they started fighting like ferociously for it. It's like, they're like they're gonna like they started like prepping.
Yeah.
They were preppers.
Yep. They estimated that there was about 1,500 warriors.
So that's the men.
Yeah, it said that
The
a
men.
lot. It said about 1,500 warriors, which is apparently about 4,500 people. So,
Wow.
don't know what that means. Why is it 1,500 warriors but 4,500 people?
So there were, like,
Was it
other
like
words-
a 3/5 rule in the tribe or something? Like,
Yeah,
I don't love the implication.
That is a reference to the American
Yeah.
Constitution.
yeah.
if you're not really dumb, you already know that. I guess learning factual history has been banned.
Yes, you can't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, sorry kids, your school is about to close, and you think that's awesome, but you're headed for the mines, you little shits. So I hope you long for the mines, Timmy.
Good luck, Timmy.
Good luck, Timmy. Idiot, can't get out of a well.
So the decline of the Catawbas was
Catawba.
the Wabbas.
Thanks, Karen.
We talked about Karens the other time. There's the white Karens.
It was due to the mortality of infectious diseases.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks,
that's our normal
Columbus.
thing.
Yes.
Jack.
Thanks to our good English friends, there was a word I found that
That you couldn't pronounce?
no, I could pronounce. This is my time.
Michaela
Sam.
looks like she knows how to read, unlike certain others.
I mean, thank you. I don't. I don't, but thank you so much. So let's see. It says in 1728, the Catawbas had been reduced to about 400 warriors, which was like 1,400 people. And then in 1738, they suffered a smallpox epidemic, which was, this is my word, guys, this is my word, endemic.
Oh, yeah.
Big word for Michaela, okay. It was for centuries carried among Europeans, and they brought it there
Yeah.
and killed them all.
We did that a lot. A lot of the Native American.
All
Damn
of
it, Stan.
All of the Americas and the world would like to say thank you for syphilis.
Yep. So they just pretty much wiped out a bunch of them.
They sounded so nice too, and they made awesome pottery. So
Right? Yeah, they were just hanging out,
Fuck you,
making
Wobble.
pottery, killing deer and fish, and the Europeans
That's
just
why
came
they're
and
there.
said, "Here, smallpox."
what could we? Okay, Michaela, we're people of color. What disease could we artificially invent and then carry to Europe to take out all those motherfuckers?
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm gonna guess like. Okay, so the disease that I'm going to invent and carry to Europe to take all of y'all looking motherfuckers out is the disease that makes you really, really crave spicy food, but it doesn't give you any higher spice tolerance, so you're just craving this food that will kill you. So you go and you take like a little bit of garam masala or like a little bit of cumin, and you just eat it, and then you're like, oh god, too hot, too much color for me, and you
eat
pass
anymore.
out and
Insides explode.
yeah, and then y'all explode.
Insides explode or later on.
Your insides explode and you explode.
I love that for them. Yeah, let's take it over there ASAP.
Yeah, we'll get multiple continents in on it. The entire global south and all of Asia. Let's go.
Let's see. That smallpox epidemic was in 1738. In 1743, even after they incorporated other tribes into their tribe.
You mean like imperialism?
No,
Conquering?
it sounds.
They were like, we don't have enough people. We're going to count you as our people. They still had less than 400 warriors at the time.
You
They
know,
went
at
from
least
400
if
to less than 400
Yeah.
when they incorporated people?
Yeah.
When they took over
So
Greenland?
they went to less, and so then they incorporated more people, and they still had less.
So when they incorporated Greenland, they had fewer people than they did before they
So-
incorporated Greenland?
So make it make sense. You annex, steal, enslave, incorporate. I put an air quote. Incorporate. And then I'm talking about y'all stand-looking motherfuckers. Y'all incorporate us, and then you say, "Get the fuck out, immigrants." What
Yep.
am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to incorporate, or am I supposed to
Pick
get
one.
the fuck out? Pick one, Stan.
Pick a
Pick
struggle,
one.
Stan.
Pick A or B.
We said, this is
Or B.
now North Carolina and South Carolina. That's what we did.
Y'all just love y'all just love invading lands, then arbitrarily forcing a division between North and South, don't you? That's your favorite thing. Fucking European cucks.
We'll have to edit that one out.
Yeah,
Oh
pretty
no!
sure.
Hashtag cancel Stan. Cancel Stan. Cancel Stan. Cancel Stan.
So yeah, no, the Catawbas they kept declining. 1761, they had about 300 warriors or 1,100 people. 1775, they had about 400 people. In 1780, it said that they had 490 people. So
Ooh,
I
little
don't
population
know
growth?
where
Little
that.
population growth.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess people were getting
Valentine's
They're
Day
getting incorporated.
was really hot that year.
Yep.
The beaver moon was shining,
Yep.
and all
they
the
were
beaver
bending
creeks came.
some iron rods.
Yeah,
And,
they were bending some iron.
and
Yeah.
now they have 490 people, but quickly diminished in 1784 to 250. So
Damn.
they
We're
got
doing
busy
well.
for
The
nothing.
next Valentine's Day sucked.
1784, that was U.S. time then. That was like when the country was,
Yep.
yeah.
Their numbers just continued to decline all throughout the 19th century. And then in 1883, tribal members were contacted by missionaries and many of the Catawbas.
Did they use the telegraph?
No, dumbass. You know, they held up a cross and they screamed into the sky, and God delivered their message like a voicemail.
Yep. No, they used doves. What is that?
Pigeons. Carrier pigeons.
Pigeons. Yep. They
Not to be
put
confused with passenger pigeons. Carrier pigeons.
Yeah, because one of those is extinct, idiot.
they made pottery, and sent them on pigeons.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And if we don't bring that
I almost
back,
spit my coffee out.
The pigeons were struggling to carry the pottery.
I was saying, like, all the people that I write letters to, saying that since the USPS is going to be killed by that one douchebag, right? And we
Yeah.
talked about this last time, that we need the pigeons to come back.
Yeah, the homing pigeons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the last podcast we were talking about how
Wait a minute.
douchebag DeJoy is going to like take a big old dump in the mouth of the USPS and ruin it for all of us, and nobody can get letters or medication anymore. It's really going to piss off all the hospitals to whom I owe
Oh, yeah.
so many medical bills because they can't send me blackmail anymore. But you
If
know.
people wanted to get better, they would pull themselves up by their bootstraps and get better.
That's what I
Yeah.
said, and
just be better. Let's feel
that's
better.
that's what I said when I ripped out the dialysis machine. I was like, I'm not some little need helper person.
It's Tiny Tim.
Yeah, Tiny. You run up behind Tiny Tim, you push him over on Christmas Eve, and he was like, "If you really wanted to walk to me, you had bootstraps." He was like, "I don't have bootstraps; it goes on my legs." And you're like, "Shut up, Tim." Charles Dickens wrote too many words.
Shut up, Timmy. Just walk, damn it.
Yeah, just walk, damn it.
Oh my god.
Accuse him of faking.
You're gaslighting us.
Yes, go off and accuse him of faking, and then go wobble.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, the Catawbas were like, I love God and Jesus now, so we're gonna leave. Yeah, they're like, we're gonna go. We're gonna go move to the western states and be a part of the Mormons.
Oh my God, really? Are they in
Yep.
Utah? The Catawbas are in Utah?
They left the southeast and they resettled with clusters of Mormons in Utah and Colorado.
Oh no!
So-
Is this the point where I tell my Sherlock Holmes Mormon story?
Wait a minute. This could be bad.
No, it's not. So
It could be,
what
though.
what I like to ask people, because like everyone
Canceled.
knows like the Sherlock Holmes IP, but I don't feel like a lot of people started with reading the stories. So I like
Okay.
to ask people like, hey, have you ever read A Study in Scarlet, the first Sherlock Holmes short novel? And they go, no. I go, did you know that kind of like towards the end of that, the author just takes 5 chapters to randomly tell us how horrible Mormons are?
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle?
Yes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who's going to be on our podcast because he has Sir in front of his name, wrote.
He's probably in there, yeah.
Yeah, like you know, like the
Encyclopedia
story,
Britannica.
the study in A Study in Scarlet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it 5 chapters?
There's like 5 whole ass chapters where it's like, this is why the guy killed it. It's because like the Mormons like raped and murdered his fiance. And
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, and I'm like, I kind of am on the side of the murderer with this because he was killing like the elder Mormons,
Like
who-
Luigi.
Yeah, Luigi. That's Stan's girlfriend and future wife. We can't wait to welcome Luigi into the fold. But yeah, he was like a good murderer. Yeah, a good murderer.
He's our
Because,
next
you know,
guest on the podcast.
if you look at if you and we on the this pod the fucking it's so long. I just called it the Stan and Hal podcast. We're gonna call it the Stan and Hal and Michaela podcast.
Yep.
We are not legally allowed to endorse and condone murder. So
But-
contractual obligation. Whenever I say
If
that.
we were,
But if
I
we
did it.
were, if we were, then if you're targeting like pedophiles, which we're not allowed to say on the Super Bowl, or healthcare CEOs, like
Wait a minute.
you're
Hold
one
on
of
a
the
minute.
good ones, buddy. Oh no! So like if you do kill people, and become a murderer, but who you killed was a pedophile or a CEO, please consider running for president.
please.
In 4
yeah,
years,
yeah.
because that way you can,
Like,
it doesn't matter what kind of record you have. If you have like a billion fucking convictions, if you're a felon, you can still be president. So please consider
Like
running.
Dexter. Dexter should run for president.
I never saw that show, but yeah.
So I'm going to
pretty
tie
good.
this.
That's what
I'm
he
going to
does.
tie this together because you made a reference to the Mormons, and you
Ew.
made a reference to the Super Bowl,
Sorry, I have to say that. For,
and so you have like a
person I
song
know.
going to be played in the Super Bowl that he says where he
That-
says a certain person likes to Brigham Young.
I fucking broke when I heard that lyric for the first time. I sat there just like now, just sat there, and then 5 seconds later, I was like, no.
And he's going to do it
Slapped my
tonight, ladies
face.
and gentlemen.
Yeah.
The only reason you should tune in to the Super Bowl.
Stan,
tonight.
Hal, and Michaela podcast is officially Team Kendrick.
Team Kendrick all the way. Make sure you wear your Lions gear tonight.
Your Lions gear and protest. Okay.
I want to say something. I think this was odd. I read an article today and was talking about how popular that song became, and the
He
whole
won 5
song,
Grammys for it.
the whole article referred to him as Lamar, and it was just odd because I always hear him called Kendrick. Is it odd to hear him called Lamar? I always think Kendrick. I always think.
The surname.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was that? I mean, it was just because it was like it just looked
I
weird
think
because
that
I'm so
if
used
you're
to.
a fan of Kendrick Lamar, or if you're a friend of Kendrick Lamar, or if you're in
It's
the
a
same business
nickname.
as Kendrick Lamar, then you can call him Kendrick. But I think that the good old people at USA Today have to refer to him by his surname like they do everybody else.
Okay.
He's
Otherwise-
just Ken.
He's Ken.
He's just Ken.
It's like when you find out that Robert Downey Jr.'s close friends call him Bob. Like that's wrong, right? That's wrong.
I heard something today, a joke.
Yeah.
that says
Nobody
like,
calls Robert Downey Jr. Bob.
I guess some people do.
well, people
That
call
is
Nicolas
crazy.
Cage Nick Cage. His friends call him Nick.
Well, yeah, but everyone calls him Nick Cage.
Yeah, I do. I know that's right. So I heard a joke today. I'm going to say it.
It's probably not. Oh
my
my
God.
god!
It said like, doesn't Barbie come with Ken? And the kid goes,
Barbie comes with Ken.
no. She says, no. She says, no. That's the joke though. But he says like, no. She comes with GI Joe. She fakes it with Ken.
Oh my god.
Okay,
All right.
how did every young boy in America not realize he's actually gay? Like, if you have all of those G.I. Joe toys, like, you gay.
Do we need to switch topics now? Do we need to go?
I just wanted to impress that we officially at this podcast believe everyone should be gay, and if you're not, you're doing crime.
Crime.
Yeah, you're sinning.
Criminal.
Please convert now. So convert away from Mormonism and convert to the gay.
I think the new laws executive orders is the opposite of what you just said.
Well, that's
Yeah,
dumb and
actually,
stupid and
You're
ugly.
not allowed to be gay. You're not allowed to be black.
Well, Stan, that executive order is oogly boogly and broke as a joke. So I'm not going to do it.
This is a Boogly Wiggly podcast.
Welcome to the Oogly Boogly podcast.
Okay,
All right, do you want me to talk about the Catawbas anymore? Or?
I'm going to switch over to, I think, our new topic, our next topic.
All right, yep.
That's cool.
How? What
It's
you
our last
got?
topic.
Oh,
I'm
no,
gonna
I don't
this
do
one.
shit.
No,
I
Hal just responds.
I
He's
just,
like,
I have time, and then I pretend to be taking notes like a secretary, and then I take no notes, and then we finish
She
the
looks
podcast.
up the pictures for us.
Yeah, and I look at Stan, and I say no notes, and then the next week I say last week sucked. Can you do better? And he goes, I thought you said you had no notes. And I'm like, yeah, I do have no notes. Whoa,
She's our
and then I
pronunciation person.
slap him in the face one time with a glove.
That's how every single amateur sport starts.
Hell yeah. That's why I get such a
challenge
bendy
you to a
iron
duel.
rod when I watch that. It makes my iron rod less bendy.
Where's my cute little quote that I found? Man, it's in this damn
big
book,
book.
somewhere.
It's in one of the
80
780
books in front of
pages.
us. Oh my God, there's like 1,000. Okay, Stan,
Okay,
talk.
I'm going to hit on the 1980 topic while you look up that quote. 1980 topic is forest communities. And so a forest community is like a...
Forest or
Forest.
Forest, like
Forest community, like
in the
trees?
woods.
Yeah, in the woods.
A forest community. Could that possibly be a community in the forest, Zan?
No, it's different. It's a forest community, and
sounds the
it's
same.
it's a mature forest that has and all the different species of flora, fauna, how they interact. So you have insects and all those animals. And this is really talks about how a forest community grows.
I bet
So it's
mature forest is a subcategory on the Erotic Botanicals website.
okay, so what a mature forest is called is a climax forest.
So gets better and better. Well, I have no. I'm out of here. Good to
All
see you
right, guys.
guys.
Podcast we're recording in that forest.
Climax forest?
Yep. Okay, wait. I found my quote.
Okay, we got the quote.
So let's see. Finally, it is deeply to be regretted that most, if not all, major commentaries on Indian cultures have been recorded by those who were natural enemies, the white man. Straight out of the encyclopedia, guys.
Well, it's interesting too because
Natural enemy of the white man is the sun.
if you had a
Can I have one of those brownies?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I got 2 because I'm pretty.
no, because in Encyclopedia in 1980 they would still say American Indians,
Yeah.
whereas today you would most likely hear Native Americans
Yep.
or indigenous people. But it's like, but back in 1980 you still heard that.
You want like the full one because I poked your brownie.
Oh, go for it. Take whatever you want, Hal.
Okay.
Jesus. Hal's
Yep.
going to continue eating and she's going to continue talking with her mouth full.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
It says that the
That's
white
why you brought me
man, the
here.
white man is evaluating the product of a culture that he has successfully suppressed.
I'm just going to
That's me
say that
slamming the encyclopedia.
I'm kind of pink. I feel myself as more pink than like white.
You are dark pink. I've told Stan that he is dark pink.
You heard it here first. Stan identifies as Patrick Starr.
That is why he's always running around in nothing but a pair of underwear shorts.
He's only wearing underwear right now.
It's just typical. He really likes to let it all out. No, because he's a skinwalker. Get him.
I'm going to the forest again.
Get him cooler.
There's another term I can't say again.
But Kendrick will tonight. Just want to say that if the Kansas City Chiefs win again,
How many times would that be?
3.
like 3 fucking times.
Okay.
3 in a row.
Yeah, 3 in a
Three-peat.
row.
How many total?
Like 8 million.
Too
many.
It's too many. Yeah, if they win again,
Their
I'm going to the
parents
climax for us, and I'm ruining it for everybody.
Their parents never taught them to share, I guess.
So in 1980 is what's your topic from. I started with 1980 for forest communities because that's where most of the words were.
Most of the words.
And it was Cyril. Talk about Cyril forest communities, which is SERAL, like cereal, but Cyril. And Cyril is a succession of stages as a forest goes from initially growing until being a climax forest.
Stan can't say it with a straight face.
I'm just making mouth noises because Stan, I'm done with you.
So it talks about, like in 1980, it talks about how forests regrow from a catastrophic event like a hurricane, a fire, or like overlogging something. So like removing all this stuff. And I bring that up because it does change in how it's discussed today. But back then there was no distinction between either a natural event like a fire or an unnatural event like removing all the mature trees from the forest, or all the trees.
They removed all the climaxes
Unnatural event
from the forest. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they removed the climax from the forest and made it become a...
It sounds like they made it not
forest.
come.
Well, it's they talk about like different. So there's a primary stage, which is the first plants that start growing there, and then there's secondary, which is the next ones. But it says it's primary, which is the main ones that grow, and then like secondary can be multiple different types of trees or whatever that come into play, and then it talks when it matures, which are the ones that are the final ones that actually colonize, and it kind of gives reasons why. We won't go into a lot of detail on that. But it talks about different types of forest biomes. So coniferous, which is one of them, and coniferous had two subcategories, the taiga, which is like, Arctic area, and then moist.
Oh. Wait, one more time?
Moist temperature. Conifer forest. Moist temperature conifer forest. So that's like in the...
Is that what you call your pubes? You're like, hey ladies, you want to see my moist temperature conifer forest? And then they bear spray you.
We may have to
You're like,
put a warning on this one.
And that's how Stan got canceled the first time. His name used to be Louis C.K.
There go all of our sponsors.
No, I think we're getting more.
iHeartRadio went out of business during this podcast recording.
Oh my god. Sponsored by baby powder to make you less moist.
So the moist temperature are like the Pacific Northwest, the California coast, all the places where those big giant like sequoias and things like that grow.
I did live there before, and it was very moist. All the time. It was rudely
And
moist.
it was very moist.
It was super moist.
Super moist.
It was so moist. It was moist like you ran in really, really hot weather for an hour and then did not change your fucking... That's not true. You want to know what... I mean, does this sound human? That's Florida. Florida is if you run a marathon, someone like you, Stan, you run a marathon in 104-degree weather, and then you just decide to keep those underwear and shorts on all fucking week.
Fucking week. That's my
That's like more like a fungal conifer forest, Seattle is just drizzling all the time. Just drizzle, not really rain. Just
Love a
drizzle.
good drizz.
Just drizz, yeah, a little drizz.
He's got some Riz. Oh, no, Driz.
Oh, that made my conifer forest very dry. So why don't you move on, bitch?
So the other types of biomes are the mid-latitude forest. So those are the typical ones that we see in our area, which is there's both deciduous forest and there's evergreen. And remember, evergreen is different than coniferous. Evergreen just means it doesn't lose leaves. So some of those are broadleaf evergreen. Some of those are like, pine evergreen. You can call them pine evergreen. There's tropical forest. Didn't have any subcategories there, just tropical forest. And then there's the forest ecotones, or ecotones. And that's the edges of the forest where you have things like savannas, thorn.
Cats?
What?
Savannah cats?
No. Like the tigers and lions? Yes. Yes. But he talks about the savannah. What's that song? I can't remember what that was anymore. I'm going to say
Stan
I don't
knows
know,
every
that's a-
song known to man.
Great segue.
I say it, but I growl it out. I'm going to growl those
They're
songs
just like,
out, too.
oh, and then on the shopping list we have milk, eggs. Hey, what about that war that happened when I was a boy? Let me bring that up for some reason.
That was the 100-Year War.
Yes, it was.
The other forest ecotones are thorn forest, which is like cactus, And then like the mangrove forest, which is the ones on the brackish areas of the coast.
You know, like which one of those is the tumbleweeds?
Tumbleweed probably closest to savanna. Do you know tumbleweeds are an invasive species in the U.S.?
I bet they were brought over by the Europeans
in
No.
the U.S.
Yeah.
I think they may have been brought over. They're brought over by Russia, so I don't know what part of Russia brought them over. That's where they're native is Russia.
Oh,
So
Why
it
do
could have
people
been-
just keep bringing stuff?
Because we
Go
can
away.
I'm going
fuck
to
off.
bring something up because this is one of the things I thought was funny.
Brought smallpox. They brought tumbleweeds.
None of us like any of those.
Like what?
The discussion on
anything
forests,
fun.
there's no separate topic for forest communities in 1877. They just talk about forests in general. And it talks about trees going in one climate and saying, well, this tree would naturally go in this climate. It should grow there as well. I wonder why they don't. I'm going like, oceans? I mean, don't they know about oceans back
Not
then? Because
everyone is as smart as you,
They're,
Stan.
they're looking at going like, well, this tree grows in Brazil, which has a similar climate to like, Mediterranean or something like that over in Europe. And like, so the trees should grow there. I wonder why they didn't. There's an ocean. It's a big ocean.
Water.
Give it 50 years, someone will invade.
But now because we can't invade. So when you like come different places, you can bring seeds on your clothes or you can bring them in whatever you're bringing over. So that's why we have invasive species back then. But it's like,
We call these gross bugs.
yeah, before I mean, it's like if you look at the natural development, there was no interaction between like the Americas and Europe. I mean, it was but now it's there. So
We should give Europe some of our invasive species.
Yeah. What are our worst species?
our worst
Stan.
species.
Sam, can you go ruin Europe for us? Actually, can you just go conquer Europe? Fucking Emperor Stan. Emperor Stan, god of Europe.
I know enough not to go into Russia though, because everybody loses when they go to Russia.
I mean, Russia lost a war against Japan in the 1800s, and I find that just a beautiful fucking thing.
The Russo-Japanese
The
War.
Russo-Japanese War, and they got their fucking pasty Russian asses kicked. And I will gloat about that until the day I fucking die.
Take that, Russia.
Yeah. We're like, bye, lady.
There's just a couple things on the different forest communities, because this is what the topic is really about, is actual growth of like a forest going from like a volcanic eruption completely denudes everything. It's all just bare rock now, right? So first things that grow out there is mosses and lichens and algae and stuff like that. That's the first thing that grows. And then once it starts developing soil, different things come into play. So there's different initial growths in all these different areas. We talk about like a taiga forest or whatever that's how to pronounce that. Don't look at me like
Try
that.
it.
Hey,
Not look at
Stan.
me like that.
Hey, Stan, I feel like my edible just kicked in.
Then you should be able to understand me at this point.
I have not been listening for the last 40 seconds.
So like the taiga's initially herbaceous, so it's like a bunch of herbs,
Herbaceous.
and then like birches and aspens, and this is so the primary is herbaceous, secondary is like birches and aspens, and willows and alders,
Hey,
and
Stan.
then finally jack pine and Scots pine.
Have you ever
Yeah.
seen that like naturist video, the arborist video? Or the arborist is like,
There's a book.
no, shut up. Have you ever seen the video, like I said, on the
What do you mean
internet?
of the video? Is it like
Where the tree guy is standing in the woods and he's like, this is an aspen. You can tell because of how it is.
there's a name for that? That's what is that called?
Timmy.
No, there's a name for it.
God damn it.
Tautological. That's a tautological argument, right? Is that tautological? Tautological?
Oh, you really want to show off the longest word you know?
I thought I was just going to come in here with a big word and be like, ooh, look at me. And here comes Stan with tautological.
Are you looking it up?
Me?
Tautological refers to something that is redundant or repetitive, often in a way that doesn't add new information. In logic or rhetoric, a tautology is a statement that is true by necessity or definition because it repeats the same idea in different words.
Yeah.
So technically, yes, Stan, you just use a word correctly.
Good job, Stan.
Thank you. I appreciate
Fuck
you.
me.
You really just really want to
throw my word
He's
out the
like,
window.
"Look, I know fucking 5 syllables. I can't pronounce.
I didn't. I had to think about it though before I
Hey,
remembered
Stan,
it. Yeah.
Stan, you were like Catawba.
As opposed to scatological.
Stan, you're fired. You're fired.
This is the Michaela and Hal podcast now.
Stan, we're ousting Stan. Get out.
So a lot of this other discussion about the trees is kind of boring. It just says like what primary, secondary is, and how it does cover some things like if you look at something that's being like completely grown from scratch, you have like smaller things and then brushes, and then early trees are usually fast growing, or they're able to spread fast, like a lot of things, and then later on shade loving trees that or not shade-loving trees.
Shade-loving trees are really going to enjoy the halftime show tonight. I am fucking killing it today.
She's on fire.
I'm on fire. Kendrick, let me be your manager. I'll make you so much more money.
He doesn't need any more money.
Oh, I know. Okay, but I do. Can I have some?
Yes, that's what you need.
Okay.
Kendrick, sponsor us.
Yes, Kendrick, sponsor us, please. I want a real sponsor.
We'll work on that.
Maybe we can get Eminem to sponsor us since he's from Detroit. Eminem.
Sponsored by Eminem, not M&M's.
Eminem's asked us to be very specific and clarifying.
Eminem's not going to be there because Detroit's not there. If Detroit were there, Eminem would be all over that
We're not talking
thing.
about the Super Bowl. We're talking about our sponsors. Have you not been paying attention, Stan?
No, I'm not paying attention.
Oh, well.
Not the candy, the man.
Yeah, the man.
The man.
The man.
The man.
I want to just mention for those of you not from here that 8 Mile Road is a real road, and it's just so like one of our producers didn't know that the 8 Mile song referred to an actual fucking road, and was really wowed when we fucking drove
a lot of mile roads.
onto 8 Mile Road. He's like, "It's real," and I go, "Yeah, there's
Oh my God,
an
this
8
is
Mile
from the
Road, a
movie."
9 Mile Road, a 10 Mile Road."
There's other names. Every road has like multiple names. Like 8 Mile is also Baseline.
Oh my God,
It's
they
like- named
named 8 Mile Road after that movie and that song. That's crazy.
I did have to drive on Stanley Avenue the other night. That is true. It's in Pontiac.
There are some. Yeah, there's a lot of Stanleys because there was
Because some man named Stanley came and spread his illegal seeds around here.
if you
In the
remember
middle of the forest climax.
Stanley went to the climax forest and just came back and started spreading his seeds.
that's because first I dipped my stub into the Beaver Creek.
And now you're conifer forest. Very moist. Did we get them all, guys? Did we get them?
What about the iron rods?
Oh, yeah, the iron rod. Okay.
Oh, my God.
Well, my iron rod has never been bendier, so could you move forward?
All right, that's all of them.
Okay. So I'm going to go into Wikipedia a little bit here because we talked about the back in 1980 they didn't distinguish between different types of things that cleared a forest. So now in today's days there's complex early cereal forest, which is things that were done naturally. So if a forest has a fire or a hurricane, the biomass is still there. So because the biomass is still there, it grows differently than if it's overlogged. If you overlog something, then there's less diversity because you've taken a lot of stuff out of there, and so it doesn't have a chance to grow naturally. It's going to grow in a completely different way. So those are the simplified earlier cereal forests. So I thought that was interesting because they have them different now, and it's based on like taking everything out.
I'm just sad now because you have reminded me of deforestation, which is a sad thing.
Yeah, it does. I mean, even in 1877, it talks about like deforestation being an issue, and a lot of because you think it's like that's a lot of the environmental stuff we talk about now wasn't around in 1877. Like climate change wasn't around, overfishing wasn't around, but overlogging was. There's a lot of areas of Europe that had been overlogged, and they recognized that, and so places had just started putting in laws in place. Like one place, I can't remember what it was. I wrote it down here. Somebody had all these laws to prevent like overlogging.
Well, then they just went to South America and stole all their logs.
They just ignored it. It was like they had, I think it was Denmark.
God damn it,
Yeah,
Denmark.
Denmark had laws in the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries to prevent overlogging, and they just ignored them. They just put a law. It's like and just like,
That's what people
whatever.
do.
Yeah,
How does Nikolai Coster-Waldau feel about that?
I don't know. In what year is this? 1877, they said Brazil had forests covering an area half the size of Europe. So the rainforest in Brazil covered half the size of Europe. And if we look at that now, that's the bad way. When you overlog something, the forest doesn't grow back like it should. And there's a name for that now. I looked that up too. It's called Plagioclimax Community. Plagio. Plagioclimax.
I don't want to try to make that funny.
No, it's an area where human intervention has prevented something from being able to revert to a climax area.
So the planet Earth.
A lot of it. So it's like
Garbage Island.
Garbage Island.
Garbage Island.
It's not just. I mean, it's farmland, right? Everything's farmland. It's not going to revert back to something. It's everything that's been paved over is not going to revert back to something.
Sorry,
I mean, it will
ate
eventually,
the whole
but
brownie. Someone needed to tell me to stop.
No, that's your brownie, girl.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's crumbs now. I was going to share it, but then I forgot. I wasn't going to share it.
She wasn't going to share it. There was no chance.
No.
I did look up something too because I was looking up forest and in 1877 there was
He looks at me and I'm just giving him this.
I don't know. That was a smirk right
she
there.
gave me something. It was like it's not.
just whatever you're going to say, I'm not going to like it.
So there were forest laws in the UK. And the forest laws was basically the king could declare anything a forest, and he had exclusive use to it. He's the only one that could hunt on it. He's the only one you had to pay. You had to pay fines if you went into his land, and he could declare anything that his forest. And if you've ever heard of the Magna Carta,
Yup. Stan likes to say words that every elementary schooler has learned, and then look at me like I'm too dumb to know those words. I'm like, me stupid, me dumb.
wait a minute, I do it two ways. Sometimes I look at her, and sometimes I don't look at her because I just assume she knows it.
And then she's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yes.
That's usually when he pronounces a word like pillar. Catawba. Stan, I think you had a stroke.
Catawba.
He's like drinking his like fucking frappuccino. He's like, this is a good Catawba. Stan, you mean coffee?
It's
You all right,
now.
buddy? And then Stan starts foaming at the mouth. I'm like, oh man.
So one of the major reasons for the Magna Carta was because all the barons didn't like the king taking away their land or arbitrarily doing that. So they forced King John to sign the Magna Carta and to prevent the taking over of forest by the forest laws. I thought that was interesting. Maybe you guys think it's just stupid.
How did their bulls feel about that?
Well, they also distinguished a forest was open, a chase was fenced somehow. So you had different things. You had a forest and a chase, and you had beasts of the forest. And the beasts of the forest were a hart, a hind, a hare, a boar, and a wolf. And if you're wondering what a hart and a hind are, a hart is a male deer, and a hind is a female deer.
I don't like that. They could have just said deer.
Well,
should have just said
it goes
deer.
on because you had beasts of forest, you had beasts of chase, and the beasts of chase were a buck, a doe, a fox, a marten, and a roe.
So, okay.
So-
Were these deer different somehow?
I don't know because you had hart was a male deer and buck's a male deer, hind is a female deer and doe's a female deer, doe a deer a female deer.
Wait, so what are they doing?
Stan's like, what is this? Is it a beer? If it's a beer, I shall drink it here. Doe, a deer, a female deer. If it's a beer, I will drink it right here. Drink is a I can't say that.
So yeah, so there's also the fox. You know what a fox is? Do you know what a marten is? M-A-R-T-E-N. Marten. Marten.
Yes, but I don't know what a fox is. Can you please explain and describe that?
Foxy lady.
I know what a fox is, but what does he say?
Dear fucking God.
What does a fox say? So a marten is a weasel, and then you know what a roe is?
An oar.
It is another
The
fucking
roe.
deer.
An oar.
Fucking deer.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names for deers. We should just say deer because you don't distinguish anything else. You have a hare, a boar, and a wolf, but you have a hart and a hind, which are both deer. You have a buck and a doe, which is a deer, and a roe. So, of the 5 beasts of the chase, 3 of them are just deer.
Why are you
heart?
discriminating the deer,
I
Stan?
don't know.
They can
Heart
have different
is
names
an
if they want.
older. Wait, okay. Jeez. A hart specifically refers to a mature
Kevin
male
hart?
red deer.
Okay.
Typically, in older literature, a buck is a more general term used for the male of several animal species, including deer. And I don't know how Kevin Hart fits into it or how he feels about how many words there are for deer, but I'm sure that if we told him about it, he would put it in his next comedy special.
Oh, for sure.
Should do
I
that.
bet a hart is taller than Kevin Hart, though.
Yep.
Would I like Kevin Hart because we're the same height?
Are you really?
I have no idea. He looks
Is that
like
with or without heels?
with heels on Kevin. Yep. Yep.
And that's what I was asking.
He loves what it. He loves how it. It's such a tired fucking joke. It's such a, he loves how it makes his Beaver Creek look. Okay, no more fucking beaver. And it makes his Beaver Moon all the more brilliant. Stop. I can't help myself. Arrest me.
Okay, I'm going to do one more thing. Two more things. We just simple things I'm going to bring up, and then we'll close this out. Is Peru has a lot of cinchona harvesting possible, which is quinine, which was used for malaria. And it was funny because they said, the quote is, "The miserable governments of the cinchona regions have almost destroyed an inestimable boon," because it was more like trees were just valuable. They just wanted the money from them back then. So it was like all about like, yeah. It was like the miserable governments. I have no idea what the miserable governments are. Cinchona.
That sounds kind of white. This one.
All right, now say it in a British accent.
Cincona. Cincona. Oh. No. The actual pronunciation for it in British English is all of it mine for free.
Don't know what that means. Another thing I'm going to bring up is the India forest were mismanaged by the Hindu, the Muslim leaders, and then the early British. But in 1877, they're well managed and thriving. Because the 1877 British, they knew what they were doing, not those early British.
Lame.
They're so much smarter than those early British.
You know what I think wait a minute, talk about mature forest. Mature forest in the 1877, it was either evergreen or deciduous. And then different kinds of evergreen was littoral.
I know you want me to make a clit joke about that. I'm just like, if you tell me both at once, maybe I can combine
If you say
them
it one
somehow.
more time, I might just do it.
Stan.
Wait a minute, the other one was swamp,
Okay, so I think you know where to find
tropical and hill.
I think you know where to find the swamp, but you don't know where to find the littoral, which is just a disgusting flaw in your entire species. Get with it. I'll give you a hint. It near the Beaver Creek. They both need the beaver. Fuck you, Stan. Fuck you.
Right. I'm done for the day.
God, what a quitter. Stan, you're a quitter. Nobody likes a quitter.
You can't
It's
find
like you're
the
not. It's
littoral
like you're
and then
not
he
even.
quits.
It's like you're not even a real athlete, like a leaper or something.
We've bent Stan's iron rod too many times today.
I think we fucking sprained that bitch. Just kicking it back and forth.
He's done with us.
You guys continue talking. I'm going to look up what our topic's going to be for next time. And just so you guys know, we're not going to be doing one next week because I'll be gone.
Okay.
And I don't trust anybody else to run this because I think it would be really, really bad.
The Stan
It would be really, really
or the
bad.
Michaela and Hal podcast
Really,
coming
really
to you next week.
We would do.
Take my mics and going
no,
home.
without you, we would do the infinitely superior version of this podcast. It would be like a 10 out of 10 better than anything, and then we would check the recording, and none of it would have been recorded. Be like, fuck.
There's always that chance.
Yeah.
We joke, but
You need to prepare a fucking backup because if that happens, I'm gonna flip this entire dinner table for a family of 8 and never come on here again.
okay, we'll list our topics for next week. In 1877, volume 23, which is TAB through UPS,
UPS.
page 787. In 1980, volume 12, which is Metamorphi to New Jersey, page 303. and Wikipedia. This is going to disappoint us again.
Okay,
It's probably going to be me.
You're not really telling like subject or topics.
I don't have the subject. I have the page.
Okay, so
My-
you're just telling them some letters, and then next time those letters will be basically
Page
irrelevant.
420.
Just like-
Yeah, you follow along in your own volumes. If I'm telling you, you just go to your own
Well,
volume
did
that
you
have
give
at
them
home.
the
Yeah, just grab
ISBN?
your encyclopedia at home and
Yeah.
flip
You need to give them the ISBN of your encyclopedias, otherwise, like, how are they supposed to fucking know?
All
What
I
if they
is
have like a
page.
bitch
It's just like
encyclopedia?
if I had to bring all the encyclopedias here to look through them, so I'm just doing this. It's easier for me.
Okay.
You guys are like whiny.
okay.
You're
Stop
whiny. You're whiny.
I
Okay,
gotta
let's
look up-
bully Stan because he sucks and he's old.
What kind,
God,
what kind of quotes
Stan.
do you have?
I'm gonna Stan, I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm gonna beat your ass.
Let's take
I
this
gotta
outside
find.
right
Hold
now.
on. Yes, it's like sloppy outside. We're not fighting outside because I might fall
Don't.
and
You
get
can't
my-
just say sloppy.
All right, Super Bowl predictions.
I'm pulling for the.
Cincona.
Syncona.
Cincona.
Syncona.
Okay, shut up.
Oh, hey,
That's
just,
enough.
this is
Yeah.
crazy.
Too many.
What's so crazy?
Remember we talked about the Aga Khan? The
Yep.
Aga Khan, the fourth Aga Khan, just died.
fourth avocado?
Just came up on Wikipedia. We just talked about this. The fourth Aga Khan, which I guess is a title of something in Islamism, and he just died at 88.
Islamism. Jesus fucking
So-
Christ. Is that the whitest thing you've said all day?
No.
No, it's got it's like
Islam.
Ismol. It's this word.
Is it Islam?
No. Ismol.
Ismailism?
Yeah.
That-
So the fourth one just died, and there's a new fifth one in place. And that's what that quote was. That's what was weird. That must be listening to what we said.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he decided to die just for our podcast.
Oh, cool. We got an interesting thing. It's Ra Island. R-A
Raw.
Island. It's an island in, I think, the Pacific. So that is our topic. Ra Island.
Isn't
All right.
it Islism?
That's not correct. I'm calling it now. That's not right. That was a very white Karen level AI voice, and that disgusted me. Nope, you lost your howtopronounce.com privileges. Disgusting.
Well, guys, I'm going to shut this down in just a minute.
Bye,
any
guys.
last things you want to say?
Go Kendrick.
That's your prediction for the Super Bowl.
Go Kendrick.
Oh, are we doing Super Bowl predictions? I'm hoping. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No,
you. What's
you're
your Super
good.
Bowl prediction?
I think that Kendrick is going to win, and everyone else. I hope it's a tie. Can they just both lose?
Share Super Bowl.
I hope
LAX.
the coin flip lands.
Yeah, just
Bye.
break the rings in half. Yeah.
I just want at the and it's overtime, right? You're like 10 minutes in overtime for some reason, and they're and KFC is about to win.
KFC.
Kansas fucking City, KFC about to win for the third year in a goddamn row, and then Williams just runs onto the field, does a fucking flip into the end zone.
He starts leaping.
That would mean he's an athlete if he's with me.
and then Goff comes in. He's just walking.
He's Walker.
He's just walking, skin walking.
All right, whoever loses the Super Bowl has to go to the Beaver Creek.
Beaver Creek. Yeah.
There's gonna be a
Go
lot
and
of
just
subs.
sit there for a while. Sit there and find the littoral. You won't. You'll fail. You'll die down
A
there.
littoral means a shore. If you didn't know that. Littoral
No, it
means
doesn't.
shore. Yes, it
I was
does.
See,
about
that's
to
why
s-
he can't find it. He doesn't know what I mean.
See, and the fact that you can't even find the littoral means you have never seen a shore. Stupid fucking men, dumb and bad at everything. Running the government when you're dumb and bad at everything.
I believe you're making a tautological argument there.
Oh my god.
And it's endemic to this
That's
podcast.
enough. That's enough out of Stan. He's talked too much today.
Did you know that Stan is actually another word for deer, but it's like the bitch deer. It's like the runt of the litter, just the bitch deer.
Bye, Hal. Bye, Michaela.
Bye, Stan. Bye, Al.
Bye, Stan. Good riddance to this entire educational session.
Canceled.